And welcome to Favorite Rugby Beyond Favorite Sports for today's preview. England versus Wales, the second round of the 2024 Six Nations gets underway on Saturday with two very tasty matchups. Scotland hosting France, and whilst England will be taking on Wales. And Wales very much almost a bit of a surprise package when they almost came back to beat Scotland last weekend, whilst England were really made to work for their victory against Italy. So maybe both teams maybe not near their best last weekend. The question is, are we going to see their best this weekend? And will Twickenham bring on another gear in England? And will a couple of experienced players returning be able to bring out the best in Wales? We're going to look at the sides as well as some of the matchups and sort of where we think these teams are potentially at and what we can expect to see from this weekend in just a bit. But before we do that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so both teams going through a transition period, as are basically half the flipping Six Nations side, really, because it's the start of a new World Cup cycle. So this is really the beginning of what is supposed to be a 4-year process. But for Northern Hemisphere sides, maybe more so than Southern Hemisphere sides, they've got more jeopardy every year because the Six Nations is such a coveted title, whereas I think the Rugby Championship, if we're being brutally honest, doesn't quite hold that same sort of importance within sort of the World Rugby order as I think the Six Nations does. So, you know, they're sort of on a path where they want to improve, but at the same time want to be competitive and want to try and win Six Nations titles along the way. The idea of Grand Slams, for example, the individual cups like the Calcutta Cup as well. So there's a lot to play for when it comes to the Six Nations, as well as internally, as well as sort of the overall progress. So England, obviously, you know, Felix Jones is new to the camp, and he's a bit of the talk of the town, given the fact that all of a sudden England seems to be playing in sort of that rush defence type thing, you know, from the box, which obviously Felix Jones is always going to be trying to implement. It's a system he knows he's helped develop. He's going to have to try and tweak and make it work for England. But also, I think we'll see a difference with them on attack. Similarly, I think Wales obviously now in a very interesting new sort of scenario. A lot of young players, a very young captain, for example. And, you know, Warren Gatland trying to sort of restart things after what's been a ridiculously hectic few years for Welsh rugby. So if we look at the sides, we'll start with the English side who are at home. It's unchanged actually, and Ellis Genge does start. Was set to start last weekend and then was pulled out. But if we look at the front row, Joe Marler, Jamie George and Will Stewart have plenty of experience there. They weren't. I think they'll be pretty solid up front, and I think that's going to be, for me, an area that Wales are really going to have to try and work hard this weekend. They'll have the backing of Mario Toja and Ollie Chessum in that second row. Ethan Roots, Sam Underhill and Ben Earl will continue in that back row. Ethan Roots, pretty impressive last weekend, early on into his international career, so looking to try and impress. Alex Mitchell will partner George Ford. A lot of people question George Ford's selection. I think is ludicrous. I think he is the best England flower half they have. I include Owen Farrell on that, to be honest. I think England are a better team when he plays. Your two wings are Elliot Daly and Tommy Freeman. Freeman getting another opportunity. In the centres, Fraser Dingwall, we get another chance to try and sort of cement the number 12 position with Ollie Lawrence potentially coming back in the next round, whilst Henry Slade will start outside and Freddie Stewart will be at full back. Still a player who I think's burst onto the scene. Maybe taken a bit of a while to find that consistency at international level, but he's definitely proven on several occasions he has what it takes to be a fullback on the international stage. Then off the bench, it will be Theo Dan, Ellis Genge, Dan Cole, Alex Coles, Chandler Cunning himself, also looked like a nice player coming off the bench last weekend, Danny Kerr, Finn Smith, and Emmanuel Fair-Wabosa. So, still got in your loose players, we go with continuity, which I think is the right thing to do. You know, yes, they might not have been at their best last weekend, but it's about taking a step up this weekend, about improving. And if two players have, you know, back-to-back poor games, you can start looking to drop them. But I think, you know, it kind of almost becomes counterproductive if you sort of just start chopping and changing between every single game. We then look at the Welsh side. There are a couple of rotational changes, especially in that front row. So Gareth Thomas, Elliot D, Kieran Azarati all come into the starting lineup, and plenty of experience in the likes of Gareth Thomas. Interesting to see how Elliot D and Kieran Azarati sort of go. In the second row, Daph Jacobs will continue with Adam Beard behind him, but the big news for them is Will Rowlands will make his return to the Welsh team off the bench. Very exciting player. I really do rate Will Rowlands. I think he's going to be world class. I think he is world class. You then got Alex Mann, Tommy Raffel, and Aaron Wainwright in that back row. So Alex Mann getting the opportunity to start, Tame Basham down to the bench. A new halfback pairings with Thomas Williams partnering Owen Lorwood. Interesting to sort of see how Ewan Lloyd and Thomas Williams go. Obviously lots of experience in the likes of Williams. Lloyd far less experience, but a new era of Welsh 10s. We spoke about it last week when Sam Costello was getting the backing to start. That this was going to be an interesting battle over the next couple of years to really sort of grab the number 10 jersey. You then got Rio Dyer, Josh Adams as the two wings. George North comes in with his So much experience, over 100 international caps. He'll partner Nick Tompkins, who I like. It's a nice player. So I think it should be a nice combination there. Cameron Winnett will start and continue to start at fullback. Then off the bench, it will be Ryan Elias, Corey Domachowski, Archie Griffin, Will Rowlands, Tane Basham, Kieran Hardy, Kai Evans, and Mason Grady. Nice players to come off the bench. Kieran Hardy, I'm a big fan of him. But a nice sort of mixture of quite a lot of inexperience, really, to be honest. International experience off the bench. So something like a Ryan Elias, who's pretty established, will need to sort of step up. Mason Grady, very exciting player. As well. Right, so let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below, and please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well, and come and join me on the watch along this weekend. And thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, and I'll see you soon.